Today we're checking out the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus, the upgrade of the Pro 4, which is still one of the best value buds you can get. But you now get improved sound quality with the addition of a juicy, balanced armature driver for some crispy treble. Now today I'll be scoring and ranking them against all earbuds in any price range in 10 categories. So can they take down the current best budget earbud, the OnePlus Buds 4? Retail price of the 4 Plus is $99 US. I'm also redoing all my scoring spreadsheets, chucking it into one ultimate spreadsheet with any earbud in any price range, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into category 1, comfort. Scoring the 4 Plus an 8 out of 10. The bud itself is basically identical to the Air Pro 4. It is slightly larger, likely to house the extra driver. But the fit is great, super comfortable, no complaints here. It should also work fine if you have smaller ears. And you do get 5 sizes of pretty high quality ear tips, which have nice grip to them as well. Now, category 2 is the security of the fit. Also scoring the 4 Plus an 8 out of 10. It's your classic stem style earbud, but with the solid grip the ear tips have, the buds, at least for me, lock in my ears really well. I would actually score them higher for myself with that great grip, but fit is different for everyone. I try to keep it pretty rough here. But in my weight training test, I had no issues, barely needed to readjust the earbuds. Took them for a quick run. They're gonna stay in fine, although there is a slight amount of body-borne noise from the impact you make on the ground and your own heavy breathing. If you like using your buds when training, you also get an IP55 dust and water resistant rating now. The Air Pro 4 has an IPX5 rating, so no dust resistance. All right, now category 3 is case and battery life. Scoring the 4 Plus a 9 out of 10. Earfun really stays on top here compared to even the premium buds. As you get 8 hours on the earbuds, 36 hours in total with the case, and that's with noise cancelling on. So slightly more battery than the Air Pro 4. The fast charge is also a bit faster. Chuck the buds in the case for 10 minutes. You're gonna get 3 hours of playback on the buds. And like the Pro 4, you get wireless charging, which is pretty rare at this price. The case is also quite compact, slightly thinner than the Air Pro 4. And here it is compared to one of the thinnest cases on my ranking, the AirPods Pro 3. And the build of the case itself is also solid. You don't get the most premium feeling plastics, but it definitely gets the job done. All right, category 4 is controls. Scoring the 4 Plus an 8 out of 10. So you really get everything you need here, single, double, triple tap, and long hold with touch controls. But what's great is that you're able to customize each function on the left or right earbud with no limitation. Earfun is the only brand to allow this amount of freedom. You can also change the ambient control switching. But what's new here is the phone call options. You can customize a triple press or long hold to transferring calls. There's a mute mic option now, which is great. You can reject a call and also adjust your noise control, which you couldn't do on the Air Pro 4. You'd have to go into the app to do so. You also get the same wearing detection here, which uses skin detection. So make sure your index finger is not on the top of the earbud. Otherwise, the wearing detection won't work properly. This is usually the case with buds at this price that use wearing detection. So overall, solid controls. It's the high scored earbuds that will start utilizing squeeze controls or swipe gesture for volume control, which I really prioritize. All right, category 5 is connectivity. Scoring the 4 Plus a 9 out of 10. Again, it's pretty much the same here as the Pro 4. You get all the same codecs, but you get Bluetooth 6.0 now, up from 5.4. But it is pretty rare to get both aptX lossless, aptX adaptive, and LDAC. You've also got Google Fast Pair, as well as LA Audio and Auracast for some future proofing. You've also got basic multi-point connection here, so you can have 2 devices connected to the buds at the same time. You just need to pause playback on one device before you play it on the other device for that audio to kick in. And just like the Air Pro 4, you get some really low latency. These are the results I got on an iPhone 15 Pro and Nothing Phone 3a Pro. So pretty suitable even for quicker reaction games like shooters. All right, now category 6 is call quality. I run through 3 tests here: a quiet room, simulation crowd noise, and a simulation windy city with construction noise. Here's all the scoring. The 4 Plus get an 8 out of 10. Overall, not bad, but there are better earbuds out there. So I'll leave you with some samples here, comparing the 4 Plus to the 4, as well as the OnePlus Buds 4. There's a lot of 4s. All right, here is the Earfun Air Pro 4 in a quiet room. All right, here's the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus in a quiet room. All right, here's the OnePlus Buds 4 in a quiet room. All right, now we're gonna see how the microphones block out some simulation crowd noise. All right, here is the Earfun Air Pro 4 with some simulation crowd noise. All right, here is the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus with some simulation crowd noise. All right, here's the OnePlus Buds 4 with some simulation crowd noise. All right, now I have some city noise, some construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, here's the Earfun Air Pro 4 with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, here's the Earfun Air Pro 4 Plus with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, here's the OnePlus Buds 4 with some city noise, construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, now category 7 is app customization and extra features. Again, I'm scoring the 4 Plus an 8 out of 10 because you get some really impressive customization. From the top, you have your ambient control settings with heaps of strength adjustment in there, different modes for the noise cancelling and transparency. Next, you have your game mode, range detection, and control toggles. The sound customization is great here as well. You get a pretty decent 10-band EQ, plenty of presets, and there's also a hearing test, but in my experience, it doesn't work that well. I noticed the volume is a bit too high for it to make a decent EQ, at least for me. There's also the solid control customization I ran through before. Next is the multi-point toggle and connected devices. What's pretty niche here is the microphone settings. So you have the ability to set only one earbud's microphone to be in use. Next is your voice prompt and language settings. Hearing health will let you limit your max volume as well as adjust the left and right audio balance. Next is your LE audio and Auracast toggles. There's also a Find My Headphones feature that will emit a beat from the earbuds. So like I said, you get tons of customization, really great to see at this price. All right, now category 8 is noise cancelling. I tested this on a soundbar with simulation plane noise and crowd noise, random music, and I test all my earbuds at the gym. And you get pretty impressive noise cancelling here. I'm scoring the 4 Plus an 8 out of 10. Again, it's the same noise cancelling strength here as the AirPro 4. I'd also put it on par with the OnePlus Buds 4, pretty close between those buds, and they're the strongest noise cancelling you can get at this rough price range. So as you go up higher in score, like the buds that have a 10 out of 10, what I'm noticing with those buds is it's gonna block out voices slightly better, high frequency sounds like fan noise. But when it comes to low frequency sounds, it's pretty close. But as I mentioned with the app, you get some customization of the strength there. There's an AI adaptive mode that gave me the strongest noise cancelling. There's also an environment mode that will change the strength based on the noise around you. And the wind noise cancelling mode will reduce your strength by about 50%, but then the mics won't pick up any wind. Not that that's a major issue unless you're outside on a pretty windy day. You can also use noise cancelling if you're using one earbud with the other in the case. I did notice there is a slight amount of EQ shift here. So with noise cancelling off or transparency mode on, there's about a 10% mid-bass reduction. So obviously when you turn noise cancelling on, you're gonna have slightly more mid-bass. It's not a dramatic shift, but more than I would like to see. All right, now category 9 is a transparency mode. Scoring the 4 Plus, 7.5 out of 10. Again, it's the same as a Pro 4. You do get 2 modes though, so there's a default mode, and the natural mode lowers the strength slightly, but I prefer the default mode. And overall, it's pretty decent. You get enough clarity, nothing's overly amplified. My only complaint here is that there is a moderate amount of occlusion. So when I would speak myself, there's a bit of that blocked ear effect and my own voice doesn't sound too natural. It's an amount where it's bearable, but there is better earbuds out there when it comes to occlusion. Such as the similarly priced OnePlus Buds 4, they have a noticeably better transparency mode when it comes to clarity and especially the occlusion. All right, now onto the final round, sound quality. We'll start here with my max volume test. I got just over 113 decibels on the 4 Plus, quite similar to the Pro 4. So for most people, you should be getting enough volume here unless you have hearing loss. You really don't want to be venturing even above 85 decibels for long periods. But now onto the sound quality itself, this is really the only upgrade over the AirPro 4 because you now get a dual driver setup with one balanced armature driver and the same 10mm dynamic driver. And that balanced armature driver pushes out some very impressive treble, which is always an area I find a bit lacking with Earphones earbuds. So with that, I'm scoring the 4 Plus an 8.5 out of 10. So if we're comparing the stock EQ of the Pro 4 to the stock EQ of the 4 Plus, the main difference is going to be that treble. It's noticeably just more boosted on the 4 Plus, but the detail is better, it's more precise, and there's a noticeable amount of extra boosting in the upper treble. So it just has a bit more airiness, and I find this adds to a more open soundstage on the 4 Plus. So it's definitely boosted, but not to the point of getting too harsh. I would say for longer listening sessions, it might get a bit fatiguing, but I think they've done quite well to give you a really forward, precise sound without being too over the top. I still like to bring it down slightly in the EQ, and I'm also boosting the upper mids and mids slightly there as well. As I noticed, this was brought down slightly compared to the Pro 4. And I like that they've boosted the lower mids nicely here, so male vocals and vocals in those lower ranges are nice and rich. Now the bass response here is pretty similar to the Pro 4. I'd call it slightly bass boosted, so it's very rich, it's powerful, but not over the top. So kick drums have nice punch, they hit hard, and that deep sub bass kicks in when needed. If it's too much for you, this can easily be fixed in the EQ, just dial it down a couple of decibels. So after I've EQ'd both the Pro 4 and 4 Plus, The overall bass and mid response is quite similar, but it's that treble that is the real standout. You're not going to be able to EQ the Pro 4 to get on the same level of treble as a 4 Plus. So my only complaint with the sound is that I did notice the treble is quite unique. It almost has like a slight metallic sound to it. I really noticed this mainly with crashes, cymbals, and especially hi-hats. Being a drummer myself, I really like it, just a nice, detailed, crisp hi-hat sound. And I'm not saying that it's like it sounds worse. It just sounds a bit different than what I'm used to. And I did notice that I kind of got used to it the more I would listen to the earbuds. Now, what was quite interesting to see here is that after I EQ the 4 Plus, they actually sound very similar to the OnePlus Buds 4 after I EQ them. The treble is slightly more direct on the AirPro 4 Plus, so I'm noticing ever so slightly better instrument separation in those high frequencies, but it's really close between those two buds there. And the 4 Plus really isn't that far off those higher ranked earbuds. Just being honest, scoring sound quality is incredibly difficult. Like if I was to retest the sound of all these earbuds, the scoring would probably be completely different. So it's rough. Try scoring over 100 earbuds yourself and let me know how you go. But the main takeaway here is that you get a great stock tuning and a great 10-band EQ, so you can really tailor the sound to your liking. That's all you really need at the end of the day. But that wraps up all 10 categories, and real quick, if you want to customize the scoring, check out my free spreadsheet linked below. You can compare all the buds, specifications, there's a core quality tab, and you can change the weight of each category, and with that you get a new custom ranking. But now the final scores are in, and the AirPro 4 Plus finishes with 82 out of 100. Not bad at all, especially for the price that you're paying. It is only a 1-point improvement over the AirPro 4, the sound quality being that main difference. So I still think the OnePlus Buds 4 are the budget king with their score of 84 out of 100. Main benefits over the Earphone 4 Plus includes better core quality, swipe controls for more intuitive control, and the transparency mode is noticeably better. But the Earphone 4 Plus has wireless charging, longer battery life, an hour and a half extra on the buds. You get more high-res codecs. The OnePlus Buds 4 only has LHDC. Not that high-res is that important, but for some people it is. But the sound is slightly better. If you like that really nice detailed treble, it is honestly quite close between both buds though. So in some cases, the Earphone AirPro 4 Plus are gonna be the best budget earbud to get. For a more detailed look at the OnePlus Buds 4 though, check out my full review right here. Thanks for tuning in, stay picky, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.